A car that was supposed to revolutionize American roads. A sleek, affordable ride that promised performance, style, and innovation. The Chevy Vega was the car created to fit in your garage, win drag races, and make you look stylish, all for under $2,000. But just like that, it vanished and has faded from memory. How did a car with so much hype disappear into thin air? Was it doomed from the start, or did something bigger go wrong? Well, buckle up and let's take a trip back to the 70s and explore the thrilling yet overlooked story of the Chevy Vega. A car everyone forgot about, but you won't after this video. Please don't forget to subscribe as it helps us reach more gearheads. The 1970s was a time when America was busy as a bee. From the Beatles calling it quits to the space shuttle returning safely back home, America was also buzzing with excitement for new cars. The muscle car era was in full swing, and everyone wanted something stylish, affordable, and fun to drive. And that's when the Chevy Vega entered the ring. Chevrolet introduced the Vega in 1970 as a compact car, produced by General Motors, designed to compete in a market that was rapidly changing. The car was supposed to be a game changer and hailed as the car that would shake up the automotive industry and bring GM back to the top of the food chain. When it first went on sale to the public in 1970, the Vega was quite good-looking and modern in most ways. It was small, lightweight, and had a design which was aimed at younger drivers and families looking for something practical yet sporty. Car manufacturers dropping sizable amounts of money into developing new cars and trucks is a common thing in today's market. But back in the 70s, the manufacturers tried everything they could to reduce costs, including using the same platforms for numerous vehicles. The Chevy Vega was not such a car. It was engineered, designed, and produced from scratch, which is claimed to have cost $200 million from start to finish. Compared to other manufacturers spending under $5 million for a new model, GM was serious about taking the market back. The Vega is a product of GM that received a good share of awards and acknowledgement in the 1970s. In the first year of production, the car had already won one of the most coveted honors a vehicle can receive, the Motor Trend Car of the Year award in 1971. After that, the Vega won the Car and Driver Best Economy Award in 1971, 1972, and 1973. Besides receiving awards, the Vega got many positive reviews for its sports car-like handling, brakes, sleek design, comfort, and innovative engineering. It was bound to succeed right from the start, not knowing it was foreshadowing the troubles that would fall on General Motors. Most cars are inspired and named after their predecessors or after their founders, but not the Chevy Vega. It was named after Vega, the fifth brightest star in the night sky, which was pretty creative back then. Once the new emissions regulations became a factor in the car industry, foreign cars gained a huge following in America. The people wanted a good-looking car with power that wouldn't eat away their fuel, and Chevy Vega was the car that GM pushed onto the market to compete with the competition. The very first thing you noticed about the Vega was its unique design features. It had a sleek, sporty appearance with a long hood and short rear, which gave it a dynamic look. Since European cars were becoming popular in the US, Chevy wanted the Vega to have a more modern look that would attract younger buyers. That wasn't the only thing that made Vega unique. Its construction was like none other, as it had a unibody design which was relatively new at the time. This meant the body and frame were one piece, making it lighter and more efficient to manufacture. It doesn't end there. Under the Vega's hood was a 4-cylinder engine, specifically a 2.3-liter engine that produced around 90 horsepower. With a top speed of 105 miles per hour and an acceleration of 0 to 60 miles per hour in 16 seconds, it definitely wasn't a powerhouse, but the Vega had everything to get the job done for daily driving. What made it more appealing to a wider audience was that it was available as a 2-door coupe, a 4-door sedan, and even a sporty hatchback. And don't even get me started on the interiors, as it was one of the few affordable cars that made you feel like you were driving a luxurious million-dollar car. Many drivers found the Vega fun to drive, especially on roads with huge turns, as its nimble quality made it easier to handle the car. The Chevy Vega was a fan favorite, but as with any other car, there were trade-offs. While the Vega was light and nimble, it faced criticism for its bad quality. The interior materials were somewhat basic, and the overall finish wasn't the best. That, combined with the fact that there were a lot of challenges it faced during production, led to the opinion that Vega was just a lower-budget car. Chevy really wanted to make the Vega a hit, but good intentions don't always end up with smooth results. While the design and concept were innovative, the production was a completely different story. The Vega was brought to life when the automotive industry was evolving and quality expectations were growing. One major issue was the engine of the car. The engine of the Vega was made of aluminum to help reduce weight, but that wasn't such a great idea as those engines had a bit of a heating problem. To make matters worse, Chevy was in a rush to meet the demand, which meant quality control had to take a back seat. Rust issues? Check. Defective parts? Check. The cars were rolling off the assembly line with all sorts of problems, and the customers who bought the Vega were often left feeling frustrated and disappointed, which led to the car's reputation decline and sales began to fall. While Chevy was trying to fix the Vega, the competition wasn't just going to sit around and wait until Chevy was done, so they capitalized on Vega's absence. Ford was on the market instantly with the all-new Ford Pinto, and so was the Dodge Colt and the AMC Gremlin, which was a goofy-looking car, but hey, as long as it was a sales success, it was all good. But here's the twist for you. Although the Ford Pinto and AMC Gremlin were released to capitalize on Vega's decline, they still sold a smaller number of units in their initial years, as the Vega was priced under $2,000, while the Pinto and Gremlin were about $2,000. Despite its relatively low quality, the Vega was outselling its competition by a very small margin, but later on the Vega struggled to compete with them. Now, the Vega might not have become a classic car, but it sure did leave a mark on the American automotive industry. It was a symbol of a time when American automakers could not figure out how to make compact cars that the public would like. Before the Vega, the US manufacturers didn't know what small even meant. But the Vega showed that people wanted smaller, more efficient cars, even if it lacked quality. Not only that, the Vega laid the foundation for future compact cars in the US, which showed Americans could be convinced to buy something that's not a muscle car. As the 70s kept moving forward, Vega's glory days were behind it. Ever since General Motors started manufacturing cars, not a single car ever set it on a decline. But the Chevy Vega was an exception, sending it into an almost bankrupt state a decade later. Well, maybe the Vega was not the root cause as to why General Motors went bad, but one could say it was the start of it and GM didn't want anything to do with it anymore either. Chevy did try to keep things fresh with the Vega GT, adding some flair and new parts, hoping it would reignite interest, but we could all guess what that led to. Meanwhile, foreign automakers like Toyota and Honda were producing cars that were reliable, well-built, and just as fuel-efficient. And in 1977, Chevy decided to pull the plug on the Vega. The fever dream was over, and Vega became a myth in not just the compact world, but in the automotive industry as a whole. So what about the Chevy Vega's legacy? Well, it's complicated. On one hand, it wasn't the most successful car by any means, but on the other hand, it taught Chevy some valuable life lessons. Lessons which they later applied in making future models like the Chevy Cavalier, which did much better than the Vega ever did. And let's not forget the die-hard fans of the Chevy Vega, as some folks really did love the Vega, and their dedication to restoring and modifying these small cars is nothing short of impressive. You'll see the occasional Vega at car shows. Gotta give props to anyone who's willing to restore a car that isn't even remembered by most people. It shows just how much even a forgotten car has its place in the automotive industry. And that's the story of the Chevy Vega. It came, it saw, it rusted. But in its short time of dominance, the Vega showed us a glimpse of what the future of compact cars would look like, even if it wasn't the best idea. Whether you remember it or not, the Vega's place in automotive history is undeniable. Thanks for sticking around till the end to relive this wild ride through the 70s. And what was your favorite part about the Chevy Vega? Do you think it should have never been forgotten? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Give it a thumbs up if you liked the video, and please make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss our next episode in the Muscle Car Vault.